Let's see if we're working. Okay, it looks like we're working to me. So, what do we got going on today? Well, I've been teaching for most of this week, so I am beat AF. So, took myself a little day off, and I thought it would be fun to do a little fun stream. Just have a good time with it. And I got a couple of these G.I. Joe guys for Black Friday off Amazon. And they're pretty fun. They're pretty cool. Like, just really fun designs I remember as a kid kind of thing, right? Like, just super cool stuff. Like, this is a Cobra Bat. They're like robot murder troopers. They were super hard for G.I. Joe to deal with. I had one of these as a kid. Specifically, I had the actual original color version. This is the Crimson version, which means that this is the one of the troopers, one of the bats that protects Cobra Commander. So I thought it might be fun to work on him a little bit. See if we can get some cool upgrades on him. Do a little bit of paint work. Try to clean up some of the seams where we can, right? That kind of stuff. See, we have another one here in the shoulder. All right, this kind of stressed plastic. And you can just reduce the size of it so it's less apparent. There we go. All right, so hello. What are we gonna do with our Cobra Bat today? Well, he came with this kind of super cute little locker that had all his gear in it, and some of his gear was actually like damaged parts. So you can see like his helmet's kind of fucked up there, and then he's got this chest plate where you can kind of see inside. So one of the things I want to try doing is making those holes and stuff on the chest plate a little bigger so you can see the parts a little more. And then just pick out some of the color apps that weren't done as like part of a mass market toy. So yeah, should just be a couple little kind of silly fun things to do with him. But yeah. So without further ado, I think we're actually going to work on some of the metal parts and some of the like internal working bits. So I'm going to pop his head off for a sec, because I want to paint these pistons here in the neck. He's got the kind of pistons going down. So I'm going to grab any kind of chainmail, gunmetal, light gunmetal color that I've got. Alright, something that's kind of silver. This is Vallejo chainmail. I do like the Vallejo metals quite a bit. And what we're going to do, we're just going to pick part of this out, right? So I think I'm going to pick the bottom piece out. Right. This isn't a special brush or anything. This is like a brush from Walmart that I got for like $1. Just trying to get a little bit of paint on there to kind of pull those details out a little bit. Alright, now we kind of want to do that some other places too. He's got a lot of silver in here, so we're going to kind of avoid that. I am going to touch up like inside here a little bit. See how he's got like these like dark, deep kind of red caverns. We're going to touch that up. One, because the chest plate falls off all the damn time. And two, these would probably be red. These would probably be silver workings as well, right? Well, it would make sense to me. So, just gonna go ahead and touch those up in there. Okay, now let's see. He's got some grenades here. We can go ahead and pull the pins out of those with silver as well. All right, now real grenades generally are all painted one color. but it looks a whole lot cooler when you have a bunch of little details in your grenades kind of picked out already. It just makes the grenades look more detailed. It makes them look cooler, you know. He's got this belt buckle here. We'll go ahead and pull that out in silver as well. Would that belt buckle actually be silver? Probably not. But it will add a little bit of detail and a little more style to him. But yeah, when I was a kid, I had the like original bat color versions of this. And the bat was really cool. The original color versions come in silver and like it's like black, silver, and orange. Like they're kind of crazy colors. And like the episode they show up in, like they are just a nightmare for G.I. Joe to fight. It's really cool. Like they're super tough because they're just like these murder machine robots. But this figure has this like swappable arms thing where you kind of swap the hands out and it gives them different arms. And actually the original figure had that too, which is really neat. But the original figure had the entire like forearm swapped. So when I got this guy out of the box, that's actually what I was trying to do. I was trying to pull the forearms off. But no, you just pull the hands out and they switch over. And he comes with full like people grabby hands for each side. And then one side's a flamethrower, one side can be a claw, and then there's this like douche nozzle thing that I think is supposed to be a gun. But it looks really dumb. He also comes with this really neat backpack. I've got all my G.I. Joe accessories in here now. And the backpack's really cool because it actually holds all the arms. So here's the stupid douche nozzle gun thing. But yeah, you can actually plug all the arms in there. And the original Joe actually came with one of these too, which is pretty neat. So I remember him having this really big like laser blaster, and I think he had like a flamethrower thing, and I think he might have had like a chainsaw. Like a chainsaw arm that would swap on. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what I seem to remember him having. Okay, so a couple of details picked out. Picked out some of the pins here, some of the straps and bits there, pins on the shoulders of the arms. Now we can kind of get in here and just do some more of the like metallic kind of robot details. I'm just gonna go ahead and pick some of those more out. Yeah, nothing super complicated here. Just doing little pick outs. Sorry for bumping the camera so much in my face. Little pick outs, right, just to add a little more style and stuff. Alright, let's see, what do we have in this over in this arm here? Got a whole bunch of little bits and bobs. All kinds of little gears and pistons and stuff. We can again pull some of these out. Try not to pull like everything out because I actually have another color I want to do some of this metal stuff into. I would think it would be pretty sweet if we have like a copper kind of color. See, like that one there, I got a little bit of paint on the black. And while I'm going to break out a black later, I prefer to have as much be regular plastic color as possible. So I just get a little water in my brush. I should be able to put the paint back up. That'll do for now. That will do for now. But yeah, the bats were cool because in the cartoon they were just so freaking scary. Like in the cartoon, man, the Joes just had like no idea what to do with them. And that was really cool. You know, they were just this really terrifying kind of thing. As you can see, I'm trying not to do everything. Right? Because I want so it still to be black, and I'm going to want to pull copper in as a color later too. Alright, there we go. Alright, and then over to the other arm. My brain tells me I should do the exact same sections on both arms, but I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to. I'm going to have each arm be unique, because I think that's probably more interesting. From a visual standpoint, and two, definitely a painting standpoint. There we go. Alright, let's see, we'll pick out one or two more areas in the silver over here. That looks pretty good. That. And then maybe something here near the top. Maybe like this tiny little itty bitty piece, maybe. And what do we got actually in the claw? Let's see. We've got a whole bunch of more pistons and pins and stuff. So we can pull some of that out. I probably don't want to pull everything out though. And pull a little bit out just to add some more detail. I'm going to hit this belt buckle again to give it another little coat. So it was not perfectly smooth. And I forgot to paint the top of it. So we're going to do that too while we're here. But yeah, all the stuff I would do to paint miniatures, right? A lot of those same kind of painting rules can work for these really well. Like as well. It's pretty neat. Even all the same paints and stuff work. Which is pretty cool. It makes it a fun little way to sort of upgrade my figures, you know? These are pretty fun figures. They've been occupying a lot of my time on my desk. Just because they are a good bit of fun, you know what I mean? To like put in different poses and stuff. Alright, so we got all those pins in there. That's pretty cool. What do we want to do next? Let's actually look at the head, because I don't want to mess around with too much of that stuff until we get some of it to dry. Okay, so let's look at the head. What do we got here? Alright. We have kind of this silver eye thing. I think the paint app on that, to be honest, is probably screwed up. It looks like it's messed up to me. It looks like the paint went on too thin and it fell through. So we're going to update that. And then I actually want to do a little bit of chipping as well around the edges of this. So that will probably be one of the last things we do on this guy before washes and stuff. So this is Metallic Alchemy. What is this called? Garnet Alchemy. It's a scale 75 paint. It's really nice. They do these kind of shiny, weird colors. You could candy coat this by doing silver and then doing a red glaze over it. But this is nice because it kind of comes just straight out of the bottle. Army Painter also has this color. It has a similar color now in their Fanatics range that is equally as nice. I just still have this, so I haven't bought that one yet. Ooh. There we go. Yeah. fill that eye in and get it all like scary and red versus the like weird bit where the paint had kind of fallen through. Alright, is there anything else on here I want to do in silver before I do chipping? No. Okay. Alright, on that note, let's look at his chest panel here. Because I think this is pretty cool. It's kind of beat up. It's got some dents in it. It's got a hole in it. It's got another hole in it here. The problem with this is that it would be really cool if you could kind of see the stuff underneath a little bit more. So I'm actually going to widen some of these holes, to be honest. I think this one's probably okay, but I think I'm going to widen this one down the bottom so you can kind of see some of the internals a little bit more. I think that would be pretty cool. So got my razor blade. And what I'm going to do is ooh, this is way harder plastic than I expected it to be. Holy shit. Wow, that's really hard plastic. I didn't realize that was as hard as that is. My plan was to shave down the insides, sort of like when you're carving a pumpkin, and you know how you don't cut directly into a pumpkin? You cut at an angle because it allows more light in. My plan was to do that for these scars in the chest. Like, so not really to like reshape them too much, right? But just to kind of widen the hole so there would be more light coming in. That was kind of my plan. This is a lot harder though, because this plastic is a lot harder than I realized it was. So doing stuff like this, you just have to be absolutely super mega careful, right? Because like if it slips or whatever, you can cut yourself, and that sucks. Like my whole time growing up, I always had like nicks and stuff out of my hands for that reason. All right, let's see. So tool safety is super important. So, yeah, that probably sounds dumb to say, but it really is. Okay. Got it a little wider. You can kind of see my finger behind it there. Let's make it a little bit more wider down at the bottom though, and then we'll color it up. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that's a good chunk wider out of that now. It's not like a giant gaping hole, but at least you can see in a little, I think. What does it look like on him? Yeah, you can see it a little bit more there. It's still not crazy wide, but I don't know. I don't think that's bad looking. I do like that's a little wider. Yeah, we can make it a little wider. Let's make it even a little wider. We'll keep cutting away here at the bottom. I think that's probably one of the most interesting sections. There we go. That's a decent chunk, right? Yeah, I can see it a little bit now. Yeah, it's not bad at all. Alright, so with that done, I'm going to do a little bit of chipping on this because it does have all that damage on it. Right, so I'm going to break out that silver again and just going to kind of tap along the edge here and there where there is sort of any kind of this battle damage, right? I'm trying not to do a 100% coat of the edge, but you know, trying to get something that makes it visible when the light changes. Right? Trying to get some kind of little thing there. And then we're going to do the same thing up here as well. There we go. We've got a little bit of chipping there. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on the head, right? Because this is probably plastic, but in my brain, it will look cooler if it has some chips on it. So that's what we're going to do. Now, at this scale, you might legitimately see a shadow in your chips. So what some people will do is they'll go back after the chip and paint black into the chip so that it looks like it's actually deeper than just like a layer of paint. I think that's cool, but also a giant pain in the tail. So I am not a fan of doing that. So, but it is a practice that some people will do. I know it's a pretty common scale modeler kind of thing, but that's a lot. Scale modeling is a lot more fancy than, you know, painting up a gijoe. So. There we go. All right, so now we got some chips along the head there. We'll go ahead and put our head back on. And there we go. All right, and we'll go ahead and put our chest plate back on too. And there he goes. All right, got a little bit more of that battle damage. You can kind of see the damage on the head, a little bit more damage on the chest, which is pretty cool. All right, so I did say that I wanted to do some copper earlier, so we'll go ahead and we'll break that out as well. So this is True Copper from Army Painter Fanatic. I love this color. It is phenomenal. As I punch my camera, it is just such a good color. This True Copper from Army Painter Fanatic is 10 out of 10. Cannot recommend it enough. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start picking out some bits, right, in his silver stuff here. I want to pick out a couple of bits here and there. This kind of like internal stuff might also be cool to do some of this in like green or something, like maybe it's like warning lights. That might be kind of neat. Right, or some kind of like operational light. But just little bits here and there. And we are going to hit this section with a wash, and that will really help pull out these details. Because there's a lot of detail in here. And you could paint these all up as like individual wires and stuff. Though I don't know if that's the... I don't know, like the best use of your time, I guess. Alright, I'm going to paint... Ooh. We're going to totally screw that one up is what we're going to do. As my hand slips because the gijoe wiggles. Alright, well now, this was red, but now we have to paint the whole damn thing. Because I don't want to scratch that off. I could have got more water on my brush and tried to get it off, but... it's all good. I think this is supposed to be like his robo heart anyway. Alright, do we want... maybe we'll do the pistons in the neck in copper. The rest of them. Or maybe just the upper part here. Yeah, I think we'll do just the upper part. I think that's cool. I'm trying to have the copper be like less, you know. And I still want some of the mechanical detail on the outside to be black. Like, you know, maybe they painted it or whatever. There's a... this guy's like a Boston Dynamics death robot. I mean, they probably tool dipped everything before he got sent out. So he does have this little belt thing here that I think these are supposed to be pistol bullets. So I'm going to go ahead and hit those. Now, what I'm doing here is actually probably technically a dry brush, even though I didn't like do normal dry brush stuff on it. What I'm doing is I'm trying to get this the tiniest bit of my brush to make contact so that I can kind of fill these in. Alright. Let's look at some of the details in the arms. Let's see. We've got a big like pin here we could do in copper. Be kind of cool. Again, I'm trying not to do everything. We'll do this guy as well. There we go. Copper just feels like such a mechanical color to me. I don't know why. But it's like, in my brain, it's like the color of stuff. Of like transistors and, you know, like breakers and that kind of stuff. In my brain, that's always copper. Okay. Now, remember before where I said I'm trying not to do any giant pieces in copper? Yeah, I lied. Yeah, I'm actually going to do a huge piece in copper in a second. Because I, for whatever reason, think that flamethrower, like heat guards, should always be copper. And I don't know where I got this from, but in my brain, they always need to be copper. So, we're going to do our flamethrower, like heat shield here in copper. Take it back to about there and just kind of do it over. There's a detail that stops there. Now, there is a mold line in that we could have removed, but I didn't see it in time. So, gijoe. As it gets stuck in my beard. That is the one problem with these figures. Holy shit, their feet get stuck in my beard all the time. It's so annoying. I've pulled out so much of my beard, and I've only had these figures for like a week. It's because they all have like little bits and bobs on their shoes, and they have the joints, and oh my god, like they legitimately get caught in my beard all the time. Okay, there's our flamethrower tip. So this is probably going to need more than one coat. Just because of the size of the brush I'm using is really small. However, you shouldn't do what I'm doing now, which is touching up the wet paint. That's a really bad idea. That's how you get really uneven coats, so you shouldn't do that. Because what actually happens is all the paint is essentially this plastic mesh that holds the pigments, and as it dries, when you hit drying like acrylic mesh with a brush, it rips itself up and becomes clumpy. So that's why you never want to hit something that's drying. They refer to it as painting from the wet edge, which means that you paint from one way forward with paint. So yeah, so I'm gonna have to let that dry a little before I do another coat of it. Okay, let's see. He is going to have a black chest plate, black robot arms, black neck, and then the black kind of stops. So I want to pick out his knee pads in black and get those to carry that black pattern down further into the body. So this is just matte black. This is an old Army Painter one that I have. But any matte black, this is all this color is. I was Honestly debating repainting all his black parts in like a bluish black, but that just seemed insane, so I decided not to. But seeming insane is my middle name, so there we go. Yeah. Just trying to tie that color a little bit further down the body. So I actually thought he had a only color in only one spot, like one color only in one spot, which is referred to as an orphan color. So I thought he actually had that on the arms here, because my eye is seeing this as brown, but it's actually not. It's actually the dark red color. I'm just misseeing it for some reason. But under different light, it's very clearly the dark red color. So when I was looking at this guy on my desk, I was like, oh, how do I carry that brown down through the body without like repainting his holster and stuff? Because the holster is a soft plastic, so it's going to be harder for it to take paint, and it will come off easier. So I was like, okay, well, how do I carry that brown down through, right? I was like, okay, well, maybe I can paint like this strap part or this little strap up here, right? But this actually isn't a brown. It's actually the body red, so I'm not going to do that now, or I will actually have created the orphan color. There we go. So mine has he's got a little error on his feet. Down here, there's some paint app errors down on his feet, so I'm actually gonna touch those up as well. On his like very Boba Fett like boots, we're just gonna touch those up. See, he's got some paint errors down there, so which is fine. It happens, right? Like these are not like super mega display figures. They're things to have on your desk to mess around with, right? Put them in silly poses. And like I had this guy choking out one of the Joes like all night long. It was just funny because that claw, if you pop the head off somebody, it actually fits perfectly around like a regular Joe's neck. So I feel bad for the Joe I have, which is Mutt and Junkyard. He's been getting beat up by all the Cobra guys. Alright, there we go. So that'll carry that black a little bit further down through the body, right? You can see we got some more details here in the arms now. Just getting a little more of that as I shove my finger in the black. Getting a little more of that robot look going. We did the chipping on the helmet. We repainted the eye, so it's just like a piercing evil red. I want to hit this copper as I shove my finger in the other black. Ay, ay, ay. But I want to hit this copper again. Yeah. But yeah, man, my copper dry? It did. Jesus. My brain has not been friendly, so I thought doing a stream might... doing a stream, it does take a lot of energy out of you. But it's also really nice to talk about something that you're enjoying or that you like, right? There's something really rewarding about that, like getting to share that out and be like, this is, these are fun things. I'm really enjoying these kind of thing, right? There's something really fun about that as well. So I don't know, I guess I kind of see myself as like a tired extrovert, right? Like I want to be extroverted, but I don't usually have the energy to be. All right. Okay. Now, mine has a defect in his chest where this plate here doesn't sit in perfectly because there's a little bit of a bend. like a little bit of an error there. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to hit him with a tiny bit of blue stack on his chest here. And that will hold it in for me. There we go. Nice. It's pretty darn cool. It's looking good. Other stuff we could... Oh, I rubbed all the freaking black paint off the knees by touching it while it was still wet. Oh, yeah. Alright, let me fix that. So, after you do any kind of painting like this on your figures, you should hit them with a top coat. So that's just a clear matte top coat. Action figure plastic by default has a semi-gloss to it, so your entire figure is going to look different when you're done top coating it. It's going to look more, it's going to sound really stupid, it's going to look more like serious, I guess. If you want a really good example of it, here's the Dom Tropin that I'm working on for a diorama, right? He's been hit with actually like a matte varnish, but it's not like super mega insanely matte. But if you compare him to like this robot girl who doesn't have any varnish on her, you can definitely like see a difference in light shine, right? So just interesting, right? So it is going to change a little bit of how your figure looks. Not necessarily in a bad way, right? It's just going to be a little bit different. But yeah, so I think that's everything I had planned for Mr. Bat here. So I'll probably go ahead and call it there because I actually am unfortunately running out of energy. Thank you, brain, for being broken. But this has been really fun. I've been enjoying doing little, as I touch the fucking black knee again. Oh my god. But I've been really enjoying doing these little customizations for the figures. And I do think it adds a lot of nice little detail. It's kind of like not in the default paint app. I mean, even something as simple as painting that belt buckle, right? I think adds a lot. Actually, if I'm being totally honest, that belt buckle would probably look really good in black and not silver. Yeah, it would look really good in black and not silver. That would also keep all the silver to the mechanical parts. Alright, and then we would have sort of this straight line going directly down the body from the chest to the knees to the tops of the boots in black. Alright, so when you're picking colors and stuff like this, you always gotta think about the fact that it's kind of a this is way more of like a hobby kind of a modeling concept, but you gotta think about the fact that it's viewing whatever you're making is kind of like a experience, right, for the person that's going to look at it, you know. So you kind of want to like tailor that experience. You don't want to, you know, like no one would ever make a movie and then let some random person make the music for it, right? Because the music is part of the experience. Or like say you were making a I don't know, a video game and you let like children design all of the, you know, like elementary school kids design all the monsters, right? If that was like your like gimmick, you know, that's cool. But if it's not, you know, and it's like Dune or something, you're not gonna have a good time, you know. It needs to be kind of like part of a cohesive kind of plan. But yeah, that belt buckle looks so much better in black. Oh my god, that's the good shit right there. Yeah, because then see it goes straight down. Yeah, dig that. 10 out of 10. All right, But yeah, even little customizations to these things are a blast, right? And just really fun to do, and I feel like they add a lot to the figures. Then the figures themselves are awesome, but I do feel like little customizations add a lot. Something else, other stuff you could do to this guy if you wanted, you would pick out a lot of the details if you did washes. I'm debating doing washes on the arms, but I haven't decided if I want to yet. But if you hit the whole thing with like a black wash, all the folds in his clothes and stuff would really come out. And you'd see those a lot more if that's something that you'd be interested in. I think it might be a little too strong, that's why I'm not choosing to do it. But one of the things I might do with a black wash is the rim, the inside lip of the helmet here. I think that might look really cool with a black wash, so that might be something that I do. So, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. Thank you guys for watching me play with my GI Joes. But I'm gonna go see if Path Exile works now. So I hope everyone has a good one, and keep on keeping on.